All right, hello everybody. I am alive. Just have had a terrible fever. I still wanted to try to make a video going over some of these problems from the review for you. Please do some studying and make your page of notes. And I'll see you on the day of the test. So, okay, going through them quickly. I'm going to distribute the 2. So I get 2x plus 12 plus another 2x equals 24. Combine my like terms. So 4x plus 12 is 24. Subtract 12. 2x is 12. Divide by 2. So x is 6. On number 2, I can subtract 6 from both sides. So x over 3 is negative 3. Then multiply both sides by 3, and I get x is negative 9. On the third one, really similar to the first one, distribute the negative 2. So double negative 2 makes 4. Negative 2 times negative 1 makes 2. So we have 4x minus 7 equals 4x plus 2. And then if you try to get your x's on the same side, you'll notice that they actually cancel out. And if they cancel out from both sides, you're just left over with negative 7 equals 2, which is not true. And so there's no solution. So if the x's cancel out and the numbers are different, you just write no solution. All right, moving on down. Chompy the pet gator was born and weighed 1 pound. Each month he gains 6 pounds. So I know I can write an equation like this. Y equals 6x plus 1. Because he gains 6 pounds every month, that's the 6x, 6 times the number of months. Started out 1 pound, so that's the plus 1. So here's where the plus 1 represents. This right here is the number of months, and this right here is the number of pounds. 0 months old when he was born, he weighed 1. And then after 1 month, we have to count 6 boxes up from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the point 1, 7. And then you try to draw a straight line through there. Use your equation to calculate how much you'll weigh in 19 months. So you go y equals 6 times 19. I'm using x to represent months. 6 times 19 plus 1. Let's see, that'd be 114, if I'm not mistaken, plus 1, 115. It's also definitely possible that at some point through this video that I make mistakes as I'm working through this with a fever. Part B, I'm using my equation to calculate how many months it will take to weigh 193. So I made the y value 193. Take away 1 to get 192 is 6x. Divide by 6. I guess it's probably 32. Let's see. 6 goes into 180 30 times. Yeah, so 32 is x, so 32 months. Okay, great. Okay, we got a couple lines here. I'm going to find the slope and the y-intercept. So slope is the number that touches x. So 3/7. Y-intercept is 2. So we start at this point of 2, and then we go up 3 and over 7. We could also, if we wanted to, have gone down 3 and 7 to the left. See how that will also line up. Part B, slope is negative 1/3. Y-intercept is 8. A lot of people ask me, is the negative on top or on the bottom? It doesn't matter. The negative applies once. And what that means is you're either going down 1 and 3 to the right. That would be going negative in the y direction and positive in the x direction, down 1 and 3 to the right. Or you're going up 1 and 3 to the left. So that's negative in the x direction, positive in the y. So let's start up here at 8. And I just want to show you that again. If I go down 1 and 3 steps to the right, that's an equivalent direction to if I went up 1 and 3 steps to the left. So you can think of it as a negative on top or a negative on bottom, just not both. Part C, we didn't quite give it to you in the right form, so we distribute the 3 to get 3x minus 6 first. Then I can see my slope is 3, and my y-intercept is minus 6. So I can start down here and count up by 3 and create the line like that. Okay, moving along. Solve by graphing. So this is something we just talked about. Top equation starts at 3, goes down 5, and over 3. If I was doing this on the test, I would definitely grab a ruler. The next one starts at negative 3 and goes up 1 and over 3. And you can see they cross over right here at this point where x is equal to 3 and y is equal to negative 2. On number 7, we're solving by substitution. Y is equal to x minus 1. So I substitute that for the letter y in my other equation. In other words, I rewrite the bottom equation and I replace the letter y with x minus 1. Distribute the negative 3. That's where I got negative 3x and positive 3. Combine my like terms. Negative 1x plus 3 equals negative 1. Minus 3. Negative 1x is negative 4. Divide by negative 1. Then I get x is 4. My original substitution was that y equals x minus 1. So y equals 4 minus 1. So I know my total solution is 4, 3. Okay. Solve using any method. So on this problem here, because they're lined up on top of each other, the x's and the y's are lined up on top of each other, I'm going to multiply this bottom equation actually by 3 and just rewrite the top equation again. So I have negative 3x plus 3y equals 3. And I multiplied this bottom equation by 3. So 5 times 3, 1y times 3, 13 times 3. Now you can see both equations have 3y. So I can go top minus bottom. Be careful with your positives and negatives. Negative 3x minus negative 15 is a positive 12. 3 minus 3 is eliminated. 3 minus 39 is negative 36. Some people ask, where do you get the number 3 from? All you're trying to do is multiply one or maybe both of the equations to make one of the letters match up. I could also have multiplied to match up the x's. I would have made them both turn into 15 because 3x and 5x both go into 15x. I chose to do the y's because I only had to multiply one of the equations rather than both of them. If I divide by 12, I get x equals negative 3. I'm not quite done until I solve for y also. So I'll use the bottom equation. Negative 5 times x plus y is 13. That's 15 plus y is 13, which means that y has to be minus 2. Number 9, it's basically just like the other one that we did a second ago. I'm substituting x plus 3 for the letter y. I'm distributing the 3. I'm combining my like terms. And I'm noticing that they actually cancel out. So I have 9 equals 4. And we talked about that earlier this video, that if all your letters are gone and you have numbers left over that aren't equal, you write down no solution. What that means here, if you think about it like a graph, it means that our lines never cross over each other. Okay, number 10, write an equation for the table. One thing you might notice is that this table is not going up in a straight line. In fact, to get from one number to the next number, it's multiplying by 6 each time. If you ever have a hard time thinking about that multiplier, you can take a later y value and divide by an earlier y value. In other words, you could do 72 divided by 12 and you would get 6. Or if you did 2 divided by a third, you'd also get 6. And that's your multiplier. So your equation is y equals 1/3 times 6 to the x. Because it starts at 1/3 and then repeatedly multiplies by 6. When you do a number 11, using your exponent rules, b to the 4th times b to the 5th becomes b to the 9th, because b to the 4th, b to the 5th, there's literally 9 of them in a row. X to the 5th raised to the 3rd becomes x to the 15th, because you have 3 groups of x to the 5th. 3 groups of 5 makes 15. Part C is just c to the 5th. You have 8 of them on top, 3 of them on bottom cancel out. 8 minus 3 is 5. Part D is just x to the 22. In part B, we multiplied 5 times 3. In part D, we multiply negative 11 times negative 2. Almost there. On number 12, it gives us a hint. Solve with the square root. So I square root. If I square root the left side, it gets rid of the squared part. If I square root 64, I actually get 2 possibilities. I get either 8 or I get negative 8. Remember that negative numbers square to equal positive numbers. A negative times a negative is a positive. So x plus 3, the way you solve an x plus 3 equation is you subtract 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. Negative 8 minus 3 is negative 11. And both of those are solutions to the original equation. Both of those will square to be 64 if you add 3 to them first. On number 13, we're going to factor it, so I need 2 numbers that multiply to make 5 and also add to make 6. 5 and 1 do the trick. Everything's positive, so I just write that. This problem equals 0, and that means my 2 answers are negative 5 and negative 1. Sometimes that throws people off, that you have a equation that's all positive and then you end up with negative solutions. That's simply because you were trying to make the original problem equal 0. Imagine if I just asked you, what number plus 5 makes 0? Negative 5 does, so it has to be a negative. Same idea. What number plus 1 makes 0? It has to be a negative. There's no way a positive number could make that equation equal 0. On number 14, we're changing it to standard form, so we're just going to multiply it out. If you want to draw the box, you can draw the box. Or you can just distribute x times x times negative 2, x times 4, 4 times negative 2. Combine your like terms in the middle to get x squared plus 2x minus 8. That's standard form. Okay. Now, we're going to complete the table and draw the graph and identify the important characteristics. So plugging in the number 1 here, 1 minus 2, 1 minus 4, negative 1 and negative 3 multiply to make positive 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 0 times anything is 0. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Multiply those, you get negative 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. Multiply anything by 0, you get 0. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. And we get 3. Sometimes my algebra students get caught up trying to remember all these fancy shortcuts. And I want you to please just remember that when we draw a graph, all we are doing is drawing a picture of the numbers we plugged in and the answers we got out from the equation. I could have plugged in any numbers, and I would have just got the answers as my y values, the numbers I plugged in as my x values. I could have drawn this using shortcuts, but I didn't. I just plugged in the numbers. The vertex is the lowest point, 3, negative 1. The x-intercepts are 2, 0, and 4, 0. Then the y-intercept is whatever you get when you plug in 0. It's not very clear on the graph, so I'm going to actually plug in 0. 0 minus 2 times 0 minus 4 is 8. Okay, I think we just have a couple more. Same idea. Let's plug in the numbers, see what we get. If I plug in 0, I get 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 3. That's 3. 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 3. Let's see. 1 minus 4 plus 3 is 0. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 minus 8 plus 3 is negative 1. 3 squared minus 4 times 3 plus 3. 3 squared is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 9 minus 12 plus 3, 0. 4 squared minus 4 times 4 plus 3. 4 squared is 16, and so is 4 times 4. So we end up with an answer of 3. So I'm just connecting the dots for the answers I just got. My vertex is 2, negative 1. My x-intercepts are 1, 0, and 3, 0. My y-intercept is 0, 3. Okay, I think there's just one more. Just last one. All right, let's clear all that other junk. Oh, on this one, I messed up when I made the table. I should have crossed those out. Okay, let's plug in 0. 0 minus 2 squared is 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 plus 8 is 0. 1 minus 2 squared is 1 times negative 2 plus 8 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0, squared is 0, times negative 2 is 0, plus 8 is 8. And then this one's going to be 6 again. So I have 0, 0, 1, 6, 2, 8. And I know that it's going to come symmetrically down, so I know it's going to look like that. There we go. Vertex, 2, 8. X-intercept, 0, 0, and 4, 0. Y-intercept, 0, 0. So there you go. Please, please, please make sure you study. Thank you for watching.